everyone, and welcome to my second Style Masterclass. This one I wanted to organize as a Q&A, and that is why I enlisted your help, the help of the My Style 5 community, to make it happen. And you might remember about 10 days or so ago, I prompted you to ask me your most burning personal style questions. And I want to really thank you guys because you guys delivered. You sent me some really awesome questions that I am very excited to tackle for you today. And I just wanted to let you know that I did not manage to get to all of the questions just because I tried batching them and organizing them in a way that makes more sense and in a way that will give a bit of a narrative to the whole Q&A. But have no fear, I will definitely refer to them in upcoming Q&As. So without further ado, I say let's dive right into the questions. And I am pointing downwards just because I have my laptop here with your questions and with a few ideas that I jotted down, to not forget anything important. So, the first question. This is one that I get quite often also in real life, let's call it, so not on social media. And it refers to style basics that every woman should own. Now, I would like to start answering it by saying that even with style basics, they can vary quite a lot from one woman to the next. So, for example, I can provide you guys a list of items that will make maybe a minimal lover swoon, and it will make a romantic or a dramatic style lover just yawn. So it's quite important to think about your own personal style first. That having been said, I do want to provide you guys with a list so that at least you have a point of reference next time you go shopping. And you can buy them either in a style that you really like that's more suited to your own needs and preferences, or you can buy them as they are in the most basic form possible and just use them as the, let's say, bare bones of your wardrobe. So kind of like the good kind of skeleton to have in your closet. And I would start that list with a simple white top. A white top can be a shirt, it can be a blouse, it can be a t-shirt, and this really depends again on your style and your lifestyle and your needs and preferences. But the one thing I would say is make sure that the shade of white really suits your skin and it really highlights your skin tone and undertone. And if you're not quite sure about all of these terms that we've discussed so far, if you're not sure, for example, of your own personal style, if it's not very well defined, if you're not sure what your undertone is, these are things that I have discussed in my personal style course, You and Your Personal Style. And I do have to refer you to it just because it has a lot of information that will really help you better understand and define your own personal style. So that having been said, this was the first item on my list of, let's say, style basic must-haves. The next one is a really great fitting pair of trousers. And I know that not everybody loves wearing trousers. I'm also more of a dresses and skirts kind of gal. But even so, I do have some pair of trousers that I can rely on the colder days, like now, for example. And in that same category, I would say that you also need to have a great fitting skirt, at least one. Even if you don't like necessarily wearing skirts, I would say at least give it a try. Because when you find that perfect skirt that really fits you and suits you and makes you feel wonderful, you can look very dressed up very easily with less effort. And the key to knowing which skirt or which trousers is best suited for you is to know your own body shape. And again, not to mention it too many times, but I also discuss how to find your own body shape or combination of shapes in my personal styling course. So if you have no idea where to start, that's a very good place. In addition to trousers and skirts, I would say a wardrobe style basic that's an absolute must-have is a good quality coat. And again, that can be a trench coat, it can be, a teddy plush coat, it can be maybe a parka or a windbreaker, depending on also where you live. But they do have to be really great quality and they have to suit you. Now, the next item on that list is very good, very well crafted, very comfortable footwear. And that can mean pumps, it can mean ballet shoes, it can mean Oxfords, but it can also mean booties or knee-high boots, again, depending on your own preferences, on your body shape, we're trying to draw attention, and also on your own lifestyle needs. And last but not least, I would say that you need really, really good fitting underwear. And by that, I don't exactly mean the very lacy, frilly kind, but more the very boring, basic, beige, microfiber, no visible seams kind. Just because that will be able to be slipped under each and every outfit you can think of and go undetected. So sure, buy also the fun stuff, but make sure for the basics that you buy the very invisible kind of underwear, if that's even a thing. And as you can see, this is a very partial list. It's by no means an exhaustive list, but it does constitute a very good basis to start building on for your own personal style. Okay, next question. Now that we've discussed the style basics that you should have in your wardrobe, I want to show you how they can help you also moving forward. So for example, for the second question, which refers to how best to pair items together, I would say that those basics constitute actually a very nice canvas to which you can add some more exciting pieces. And when it comes to pairing items together, a few of the things that I look personally at are the fit, the color, and the style. Now, in terms of fit, it's generally a good idea to create a harmonious look by pairing volumes together, different volumes. So for example, if you go with something very loose and wide fitting on the top, you might want to go with something skinnier or more fitted on the bottom, and vice versa, of course. Now, we have briefly touched on body shapes in the previous question as well. And I would say they're quite important to know also when you're trying to understand where and how to place different volumes on your body. And I would say, as a general rule, there are a few silhouettes that don't necessarily fit this, but in general, it's best if you can accentuate your waist just to create that very feminine shape, if that's something that you're into, of course. And it also gives your body a bit more of a structured look, and it's something that can be very easily created with the help of belts or even from the cut and fit of the garments you're wearing. Next to the fit, knowing your body shape also helps with color placement, because in general, if you think about it, darker colors will make an area look smaller and slimmer, and very lightweight colors will make an area look bigger and broader. So that is also something you can think about when looking at how and where to place colors on your body. And of course, if you are wondering about how you could place colors together, a very good place to start is by looking at the color wheel or by looking at paintings or even at nature. So you might remember that a few days ago I posted on Instagram and I was showing some Pantone swatches that were basically the colors of fall. And I was showing you guys how you can pair them with the color gray, which acts as a very nice neutral canvas. And going from that, you can get your inspiration from a lot of these places, and it's the most natural combination that you could think about. And they are basically a fail-proof recipe for getting some very good color combinations together. Now, also in terms of prints, for example, because prints and colors go hand in hand usually, it's good to keep in mind that generally, when you place a print on your body, that's where the eye will go. And they act sort of like the spice of your outfit, whereas solid colors act more as the basis. So we've discussed fit and color. Now, when it comes to style, the third pillar, let's call it, of your outfit creation process, it's generally considered safe to pair together items from the same style. So classic with classic, romantic with romantic, and so on and so forth. But sometimes it can be really interesting to try and pair items from 2 or even 3 different styles if you feel like you want to try something new. And for example, you can think of pairing a very romantic dress with a tougher, edgier, let's say, leather jacket and combat boots. Or you can pair a very classic sheath dress with a very flamboyant, very shimmery kind of blazer or topper. And those type of combinations tend to make an outfit more interesting and more unique. And that's where you can actually put your own, signature style, your own print on an outfit. But of course, you do have to also consider where you will be wearing it. So we've discussed style basics in the context of pairing items together, but they can be very helpful also when it comes to building your own capsule wardrobe. And if you've been pondering the idea of a capsule wardrobe but aren't exactly sure if it's something for you or even how to start building it, here are some things to consider. Generally, a capsule wardrobe will be one made out of, let's say, 10, 20, 30 pieces. It's really up to you, but they do tend to go on the lower side, let's call it. And these pieces all need to fit together, to fit you, to fit your lifestyle very well, so that you can easily create pairings from them. Now, I would say that a capsule wardrobe is a very good thing to try and create if you have trouble maybe making decisions and you don't want building an outfit to become another decision that tires you, another chore in the morning. Then a capsule wardrobe can really help you out. And I would say that a capsule wardrobe can also come in handy if your life is, let's say, a bit more stable. So you have a certain set of events, circumstances that you go through daily. So then you don't need a lot of variance in your wardrobe as well. That's where you can try putting together a capsule collection. Just try it out, see if it works for you. Now, on the other hand, I will say that a capsule wardrobe is generally part of a more minimal kind of mentality. So if you are more of an eclectic or a dramatic, you might find that trying to fit your style in a capsule wardrobe will make you miserable. And no judgment there. I'm also part of your group, so I also don't rely on capsule wardrobes. But even so, you can try your hand at building one, let's say next time you go traveling, whenever that will be, just to try and build a travel capsule wardrobe. See how it goes. See if you can live, let's say, for 2 weeks with, I don't know, 5 pieces or 10 pieces or something like that. And another thing to consider if you're more of a maximalist, let's say flamboyant style personality, having a capsule wardrobe does not mean only having, beige, white, black pieces all in loose fits and no extra details. Not at all. So if that's why you've been trying to, eschew a capsule wardrobe, it's really not a reason to. Capsule wardrobe can also be, let's say, 5 style basics from the category we discussed, then 3 more pieces that can be a bit fancy but can be also basic, and 5 more pieces that are very much you, that are a bit more out there. That can also be a very successful capsule wardrobe for a more out there or a more outgoing style personality. Alright, so we've discussed some really great items to have in your wardrobe. The next question refers to where to buy them, so some really great online shops for women. And I can tell you from my own point of view, I buy a lot from Etsy. I also buy from small Instagram boutiques or business owners, and I also buy from ASOS Marketplace. And those are my personal preferences because I love supporting smaller businesses, especially now in these times when it's quite tough for them. I also enjoy, recycling fashion, wearing vintage, wearing secondhand, giving a new life to clothing that has already been loved and owned by someone else. And on that note, I have a few profiles that I would like to share with you that also deliver online worldwide, as far as I know. So the first is Ginger Vintage for some fabulous vintage dresses. Next comes Ginger Art By, which is also based here in Amsterdam. And the name translation actually means the ginger strawberry, which I find adorable. And she has quite a wide selection of vintage items from coats to trousers to dresses, shoes, accessories, quite a lot. Next, I can also recommend Restyled Shop, where I bought my absolutely gorgeous blue velvet dress. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on my blog and it's also a few Instagram posts ago. And next to that, I would like to also recommend Ground Me by Gidre, who's also based in Amsterdam, and she makes absolutely wonderful jewelry. And these are all resellers that I've personally dealt with, so I can definitely recommend them also as people, but also for the quality of the products. Next to them, I would like to also recommend you some more modern stores, let's call them, because I acknowledge that not everybody has the same preference for vintage fashion. So for office professionals, I can definitely recommend Reese, because they have amazing items that are quite classic, that pair very well together, and they are really good quality, so they can be worn for multiple seasons on end, which I personally love. Next to them, I can say I also bought quite some shirt dresses from And Other Stories from their natural fabric collection. And speaking of natural fabrics, I have to dedicate quite a big chunk of this answer to Thought Clothing. They are an absolutely amazing brand who sell online and who create clothing that is ethical, it's sustainable, it's mostly natural fiber, so it's very breathable and comfortable. But it also looks really, really great. So for me, this year, especially with working from home more, Thought Clothing have been like the ultimate winners because I can wear their items also when I'm on a Zoom meeting, I can also wear them when I go outside, and I can also just lounge in them and be super, super comfortable. And if you are also into more ethical brands, I can tell you that I've put together a quite comprehensive list of great brands that also won't break the bank. And you can get it by signing up to my newsletter. So I'll put the link to that in the description. I hope I don't forget it. So you guys can go sign up and then receive that list for yourselves. And you can print it. It looks very nice, if I may say so myself. And you can take it with you next time you go shopping. And I think with that, we've kind of covered my recommendation for women's clothing and accessories and generally apparel. And I would like to also now draw your attention to a few other small creators who I personally know and love and can definitely recommend. In case you're still Christmas shopping maybe and you need something a bit more interesting and unique. For a friend or family or even for yourselves. So first of all, I would like to give a shout out to Irina at Orange Rinka for some beautiful continuous line drawings and sketches. I would also like to give a shout out to Mihaela at Mihaela Vraciu Art for absolutely beautiful prints and abstract art. And I want to give a shout out also to Steph at Steph Toma for some truly out of this world astrophotography printables. I will link also their profiles in the description below. Definitely check them out because they are worth it. All right, moving on to question number 5. We're halfway there, guys. Now, we've discussed great items to buy and where to buy them from. And now I want to discuss a bit the other side of the coin, if you want to call it that, which refers to how to prevent buyer's remorse and to make sure that you only buy what you love and that you also love what you've bought. And I know this is a very, very popular subject with women, and it's also why I dedicated a whole chapter to it in my personal style course. It's also why I include a really great printable in it that should help you stay more focused and more on target next time you go out shopping. And as I mentioned before, I think a pivotal part of helping you stave off buyer's remorse is knowing and truly understanding your own personal style. Because here's the thing, if you find yourself buying more and more clothing that, maybe are very pretty, but they don't necessarily go together, or there are pieces that work together, but it don't work for you, like the end result doesn't work for you, that might just be a sign that your own personal style is not yet very, very clear, very solidified in your own mind. And you know what? I get it. I've been there too. If you watched my recent reels, I also showed you in a very short way, the story of how I went from not really knowing how to pair items together to not really nailing the outfits, then nailing them, but not really having the confidence to pull them off. Until finally, I am where I want to be from a style point of view. And that is something that, for example, a style professional can help you with. I can tell you from my point of view as a style coach, my goal is to help you, live your best life, your most confident life. And my specialty is helping women tell their unique story through their own personal style. So, if you feel like that is something that you're interested in, definitely drop me a direct message because I would be very happy to help you get there. Just because I know I've been there, I followed the steps, and I know how liberating it is when you look in the mirror and finally the person that you feel you are inside is also the person looking back at you. And I want you to feel that as well. Now, that is the first case, the first scenario, let's call it. But maybe you're also buying a lot of pieces that look great, that you love, that you also maybe wear, but they still keep on being too many. And that has a cost. It has a mental cost just because you have to keep track of everything and you have a lot of options which can really, really tire you when you try to put an outfit together. It's a monetary cost, of course, and it's also a space cost because you have to put those clothes somewhere, right? And that can also be a sign that, okay, perhaps you know your style, you know yourself, but it still can be a sign of a dissatisfaction somewhere that you're trying to, fix by overbuying. And again, a specialist can help you with that. It can be a style coach, for example. It might have to be a psychologist because everybody is specialized a bit different and can help you in their own way. But it's definitely worth getting the conversation started at some point, and then you can at least start building towards a better, more defined, more refined wardrobe. Okay, so now we know which items to buy, where to buy them from, and how to stave off buyer's remorse. Next, when it comes to putting a look together, I want to also answer the question of how best to accessorize it. And I get it, accessories are such a vast field, because they can be, jewelry, it can be belts, bags, shoes, it can be scarves, hats, even your nails can be an accessory. And there are multiple ways you can play with them to really bring out your own personal style, your own version of what you feel your style expression should be. Now, speaking of your style expression, this is again where knowing and understanding your own personal style will come in handy, because it can help direct you in also the accessories field. Because you might be able to choose better from romantic accessories or from classic ones, or you might find that you're an eclectic and you like to mix it up. So as you can see, knowing and understanding your own personal style is basically the basis for building a successful wardrobe for apparel or for accessories. And next to that, when it comes to accessorizing, there are a few rules, let's call them, that I try to keep in mind for myself. One of them is trying not to highlight more than 2 areas at once. So let's say, for example, you wear some beautiful earrings, some statement earrings. Then with these, I would either pair also a statement necklace, and then the rest of your outfit is very simple, nude shoes, a bag that doesn't draw attention, quite small. Or you can choose to pair a very nicely bejeweled belt with earrings like this, and then again, keep the rest quite nude. Or you can opt for statement shoes and a statement bag, and then the jewelry won't be so, out there. And now that we've talked about jewelry, I'm sure you've heard it as well. The kind of rule which has been broken so many times, I don't even know if it's a rule anymore. But anyway, I'm sure you've heard that when it comes to pairing metals together, colors in the same color family should stay together. So gold with gold, silver with silver, bronze with bronze, and so on. Now, I can say I definitely mix metals together in the same look, and I don't think that's a fashion faux pas. But what I do try to keep in mind, and what I advise you to do as well, is look at the color family that best suits your skin tone and undertone, and try to wear those closer to your face. So, a very simple example, if you have warm undertone skin, you might want to pick golden earrings or a golden necklace, closer to your face to bring out the best in your complexion. And you can still enjoy the other colors in the bottom half of your body. This is just as an idea, of course, it's not a must have, nothing will happen if you do it the other way around. But this is just the easiest way to get the best out of how you already look. And last but not least, regarding of which accessories you pick and where you place them on your body, the most important rule I think is to make sure that they are high quality. Because let's say you pick a belt, one that has been made in a maybe small atelier where they really have craftsmanship, where they really pay attention to the details, to the quality of the leather and of the stitching. That kind of belt will last for much longer and it will look much better for the whole duration that you're using it for than, let's say, a belt that you paid almost nothing for, that comes from a fast fashion shop, and that will in the end not bring you as much happiness and not such a refined look. Okay, so now we've discussed accessorizing, I would like to move on to the next question, which revolves around staving off outfit boredom. So, you might have some really great outfits that you still love, but that you've worn so many times that you are absolutely bored of them. And of course, referring to the previous point, accessories can play a huge part in getting to know and love your outfits again, because you're recreating them. So, let's take a very simple example. White shirt, blue jeans, done. Good look, classic, nothing wrong with it. Now, think about how it looks when you pair it with a pair of nude pumps and a nude structured bag. I would say it's quite classic, right? Quite office appropriate. Again, nothing wrong with it, but also nothing stands out. Now, try imagining the same outfit, but instead of the bag, you have a smaller clutch, like an embroidered clutch maybe. And instead of the very classic shoes, you have a pair of standout stiletto sandals, maybe metallic or, whatever fashion you prefer. How awesome is that? I would say that's a pretty fresh look, also because it's not such a usual combination. And it's not something that you would expect seeing with a shirt and jeans kind of look. And it can already make you fall in love again with the same items basically. You didn't change anything in your clothing. Another great idea that you can try is wearing some existing items that you love in a new way that you haven't worn them before. So remember those button-down shirt dresses I was telling you about from another stories? Something I've been doing is unbuttoning them all the way down and then just wearing them over a t-shirt and jeans look, kind of like a lightweight trench coat for spring or fall. And I can tell you this is a great way also of getting more mileage out of your items and also of enjoying them, in a new and fresh way. And finally, one last proposal I want to share with you in terms of changing up your look. So let's again take a very simple example, that of a little black dress. Very classic, very neat, tidy. But imagine it paired with, like kind of rock and roll bedhead with smudgy, smoky eye makeup with a nude lip. I think that gives off a total different vibe than if you pair it with, let's say, a velvety red lip with cat eyeliner and with really big, well defined curls. So, the impact of your hair and makeup also in your overall look really cannot be underestimated. And now, because we touched on staving off outfit boredom in the previous question, I would like to include this question of my favorite designer, even though it is more of a personal question and I've tried including more general ones. But I do believe that this will also help you guys kind of think about your favorite designers and how they can inspire you. Because I think that we can always get great inspiration from designers. And when I'm talking about inspiration, I don't exactly mean, copying their looks or necessarily even buying their products. And this is something that we touched upon in the first masterclass as well when we were discussing trends. What I do mean is more looking at a certain designer's work because each and every one of them tend to have very clearly defined styles. And then we can look at what our favorite designer, let's say, has done for the season. Look at the fabrics, look at the fits, the cuts, the different ideas, and the way they put their shows together, and grab some inspiration from that because I think that really helps us with our own outfits for day to day. Now, if you've been here before and if you know my style, then I think it comes as no surprise when I say that my favorite designer in the world is or was Christian Dior. I really love his, very feminine, very dramatic, romantic, but also very sultry designs. And I admire the impact that he had on the fashion world. Because picture this, in France after the Second World War, there was such austerity and such scarcity. There were no designs like Dior made. And that is exactly why when he came with his collection of very sculptural silhouettes, big shoulders, big hips, very tiny waist, very romantic, rich, exuberant dresses, that was what made his collection be dubbed the new look because it was so different from all the current designs at the time, from all the expectations that everybody had. He just took everything and turned it on its head. And that's why I really admire his involvement because without that collection, the current fashion landscape would be completely different from how we know it. And I think that's one of the amazing things about fashion. It's not just pretty dresses or how you do your hair or how you look. It's also a testament of the current times and space and society, customs that people give it. All right, you guys, two more questions to go and we are there. So thank you very much if you're still here with me. Now, the next two questions I've kept together because they are both in the same sphere, let's say. So they refer to how you can manifest your personal style in your professional activity. And the first one refers to translating your personal brand in your personal style, which I think is a truly amazing question. And I'm so happy to be diving a bit deeper into it. So, the first step, I would say, as I've mentioned before, is to really get to know and understand yourself. Nail your personal style down. Make sure that what you're wearing on the outside truly translates who you are inside. Because, in the end, you are the face of your personal brand, right? So, you want that to transpire through your style as well. You want to be comfortable in it, you want to be confident in it. And that is really the foundation of expressing your brand through your style. Next to that, so let's say you have that nailed down. I would say it's also a good idea to look at the sphere of your activity. So, of course, I know that there are some fields that are a bit stricter when it comes to dress code, like if you're in law or in finance or in the medical field, just as some fields are much more, relaxed about the rules, let's say. So, if you work in marketing or in photography or generally in a more artistic field, then I feel like you have more freedom of expression also in your personal style. But even if you are in the first category, I think you still want, for example, a prospective client or the person that you interact with to really understand something about you as a person, also through the way that you dress and through the way that you carry yourself, you speak, because these things all work together. So I would say even if you have one accessory that you add to your uniform maybe, or the way you do your hair, if you have a little bit of you in everything that you wear at work, then you will also feel much more confident, you will smile more, you have a straighter posture, and then everything will just fall into place much more easily also when interacting with other people. And if you are lucky enough to be in a field that allows you to wear whatever you feel like wearing, I would say the number one question that you could ask yourself when trying to translate your personal brand in your style is what is the first thing that you want your customers or the people that you're interacting with to think about you? Is it that you're trendy? Is it that you're super professional and put together? Because in the end, your style consists of nonverbal cues that you are giving the other person. So, for example, if you want them to really focus on what you're saying, you could try going with a bolder lip, or you could try drawing attention to your hands. Maybe if you have presentations to hold and you use your hands a lot to point to things. So there are small tips and tricks that you can use to really draw the onlooker's attention where you want it to be, and to really help you transmit the message that you're also giving out verbally. And speaking of the bold lip I mentioned, and of all the items you can wear and how to place them and where, I think this also goes very well into the next question, which refers to what you can wear during a live on social media. Again, awesome question, and I love thinking about it. Now, as I mentioned, you can definitely wear a bold lip. You can wear, big earrings because in the end, lives are generally focused on this area, right? So as you can see in my personal example as well, I try to keep the onlookers focus, like your guys focus on my face because I want you to focus on what I'm saying. So if that's something that you want to do as well, you can use these tricks. And I would just say if you are wearing a stronger lipstick, try and find a formula that will not slide around, like get on your teeth and get messy because, it's not the end of the world if that happens. You can always just wipe it, laugh it off, and move forward. But I do know that lives can be kind of nerve-wracking, especially when you're just starting out. So definitely, try to make yourself as comfortable as possible, at least with what you wear, because then you'll also be more comfortable talking to the people in your audience. Now, speaking of something that you're comfortable wearing, I know this means different things for different people. So for someone that can be a really nice, soft, fluffy, cozy sweater. For someone else, it can be something very casual. For someone else, it can be something very glamorous. So again, in my personal case, I'm much more comfortable wearing this than I would be in a jeans and t-shirt look. But that's just my personal preference. And it's very good that it also goes together with my niche of activity, because that's also something that you can think about when trying to figure out, what to wear during a live. So my niche being style coaching, I am happy to be very put together, to be wearing things that make me happy, that make me comfortable and confident in my own skin and in my clothes. Because that is also the message that I want to give you guys. I want you, when you look at me, to think about, oh yeah, she's so happy with herself. She's so confident in her skin. Because in the end, that's my business card. That is what I've done for myself and what I can also help you achieve. But if I were in a completely different niche of activity, so maybe if I were more in the healthy living kind of, sports, essential oils, natural eating, vegan food, something like this, in that sphere of activity, I would probably wear something different. So maybe I would wear more, I don't know, cotton, loose, comfortable fitting clothing. I would probably not, use a lot of makeup. I would also be presenting myself in a different way, because that would be my, my personality and my passion in that particular sphere. So I would say, don't let your niche completely dictate what you do and how you present yourself, but it's definitely something that you can get some cues from. And then based on that, inject your own personal flair, what speaks about you and your personality. And finally, I would like to give you just a small bit of advice in terms of lives. If you think about it, I think our current work from home situation is really helping us practice with lives. Because if you think about it, every time you're in a Zoom meeting, that is kind of a live. So you can definitely take these opportunities to, maybe dress up a bit, your hair, makeup, start presenting more. So then when you go on social media with a live, you're much more comfortable because you've practiced much, much more before. Okay, you guys, and this was it. This is the masterclass. It's now the third time I've attempted filming it, so I'm super happy. If everything goes okay, then I will also be posting it today. Very excited for that. I want to thank you very much again for all the great questions you sent me. And also, I have a question for you guys, because it would be great for me to know what was the biggest takeaway for you from this masterclass? What was the best fact or the best thing that you learned, or how has it helped you, if in any way, improve on your current style knowledge? Please leave it in the comments, or feel free to drop me a direct message, because I would really like to know. And speaking of direct messages, I want to encourage you guys again. If you have any questions, or if you are curious about certain things regarding your personal style or your personal well being, and if you would like to work with me to kind of build a more personalized plan for getting your story out there through your personal style, then I would very much like to encourage you to drop me a direct message. I would be very happy to look at the possibilities with you. All right, with that being said, thank you very much for your time. I hope you have, some fabulous weeks ahead until we meet here again. And thanks again for being with me so far. Bye, all.